Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'm Lee, and in this video we'll be taking a look at White Dwarf issue 485, and we'll be going through all the contents to give you a good idea about what's included so you can make up your mind whether or not you'd like to add it to your collection. I've been really looking forward to this month's issue because it's got Gloomspite Gitz in there and a Board in Actions battle report, something I'm keen to see just to make sure I played it right the last time I played it. This is the cover you get with a subscription, and so you get a full artwork on the front, and then on the back it gives you all the contents, and it's a great idea to subscribe. You save a bunch of money if you know you're going to buy it every month. All the info's there on the inside of the cover, so you can find out about that. Then you've got the editor's note and straight into the contents. So let's start flicking through this so you can have a good look at all the different articles. And here we've got the contact page where people send in things they painted. Always nice to see what people are up to and the different things they're coming up with, because often you can find little snippets of inspiration in here that you might not ever have thought of. Now this is really cool. What a great terrain piece. This is excellent. I'd love to do something like this, but I often wonder where I'd put it once I've built it. And then we're on to Worlds of Warhammer. Now we're looking at setting the scene on our battlefields in this article. I really like looking through the different magazines, even the really old ones, to see the different terrain setups and things. So that's a really interesting article to have a read through. And before we go on to the next part of the magazine, I'd just like to say a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters. Thanks so much to everyone who's been supporting me right from the beginning. I've recently added some new perks and a goal to get to 100 Patreons. And once we do that, I'll start doing narrative battle reports. We're currently at 36, so it's creeping up there. It'll be awesome if we can get to 40 by the weekend. That'd be so cool. But once we get to the 100 point mark, then I'll start up with those narrative battle reports and also introduce some extra perks. I put one new one up already, and now any level perk you can name a trooper or tyrannid after yourself or a friend or whatever you like, and then that will be part of the narrative campaigns going forward. So if you want to find out more about this and that's something you're interested in seeing, then check out the link in the description down below. Next up, you've got Land of Living Peaks, the Flashpoint Rontil, and these flashpoints are a series of articles that explore particular regions or war zones. These are great for you to read up onto some lore, and then they build into a campaign, and this time it's going to be the Great Stomp Part 4, which comes to Warcry. If you've purchased the recent issues of the White Dwarf magazine, you'll know that the Great Stomp is usually Age of Sigmar, but now it's having a go at Warcry, so that's really cool. Next up is Gods and Monsters. This is a really nice section they've started doing over the last few months, where they really focus on a gallery of images around a particular theme. And this month is Gods and Monsters, and we get to see some really fantastic artwork, some great inspiration there, or maybe it'll put you off because it's just too good. Well, I'd love to paint like that. Anyway, now we're on to Rules of Engagement, the charm and appeal of two-player campaigns. This is really nice if you're into campaigns, and it shows you this little flow chart here as well. So that's really cool. Yeah, some nice info in that, I think. Now we're on to some new rules for Warcry, and it's the Killing Moon, which focuses on the Gloomspite Gitz. This is awesome. We're going to get new background quests and rewards for Gloomspite Gitz warbands. So if you're into Gloomspite Gitz, like I am for Warcry, you're going to love all these new rules. This is fantastic, a great choice. And you're also going to see some cards in a moment that come for free as well. So that's really good. But here's all the different Gloomspite Gitz background tables and everything. You've got Knights of the Stinkhorn. What a great title for an article. Looking at Bladeborn fighters now, because we're going to be incorporating Grincrack and his Loon Court now. So this is awesome. So you can see you've got the fighter cards there, but we do have ones to pull out in a moment. You've got abilities, which include the reactions as well. So that's really nice. Then we're on to a Warhammer Underworld section called Glory Points. They include this each month. I must admit I haven't been keeping up with Underworlds anymore, so I'm really not in the know for that game now. Then we're on to a Tale of 44 Warlords, and they're going to be having a little trip down memory lane, looking at old armies and old issues from White Dwarf of days gone by. And then here's those cards that you can pull out and use in your Warcry games. So this is fantastic and nice that they're not double-sided. So these are some proper cards. Really cool that they're continuing with this, and what a great choice for a warband. Now here's another awesome article, Warhammer 40k now. I love how they do these big army shots, and this is what got me into the Imperial Fists. I saw an article in one of the previous issues and had to do it, and I think they're going to get me on these beige ones here. I've always wanted to go with a desert theme for some Space Marines. I think that would look quite good. So this is probably going to get me heading in that direction. Now we're looking at Flashpoint Herald of Misery now, more lore. And then a pretty big section, there's going to be 19 pages where you'll find new rules for board in action games. So this is fantastic. So I've only played a few games of board in actions. I didn't like it and I was a bit disappointed, but I could well have been playing it wrong. So I'm going to have a look through the battle report later on and maybe try a few more games using the rules in here, because I haven't played enough to give it a really good chance yet. They've gone with a really good choice here. Some great models and photography again, really looking into that terrain. And look at all this, you're going to get loads of missions to play. In a previous issue of White Dwarf, they put quite a few missions in, so that's really nice that they're doing this. And they've done it again in this month's issue. So great, you're going to have loads to play with here. There's also a few updated rules, some rules adaptations, some enhancements, and you've got some board in action stratagems as well that you can add, because that was quite limited before, so nice that they've included a few more now. Then we're on to Ground Truth. This is an analysis of the Strong Rooms mission from Arcs of Omen Angron. So this is really going to go in deep now, looking at what it means to play in this board in action way to play, and then also into this specific mission. And then once we've done that, we're going to go into a battle report, which is going to guide us through every step and give a nice narrative. So this is the article I was really looking forward to, because this is a great way to learn to play actually. If you're not sure the rules, reading this gives you a nice flow through it. So a really good overview. Of course, you've got to get playing and to learn it properly, but this is a really good place to start. Next up, we're going to have a look at Necromunda. So great for skirmish games this week again, and it's going to be the first part of a campaign. There's also some nice photos of some of the different gangs. That's really fun, isn't it, that model? I really like that one, Lockjaw. And then you can see some of the others here. Then we're on to Gilliman's Own, a little black library advert here for this new model, Vitrian Messinius. And then there's a chapter here to have a read through. So that's a nice little bit of reading there if you want to have a go at that. Then finally, it's into the studio, having a look at what they've been going on there with the painting. So not many painting guides this week, actually. And then Hobby Bingo, which I always forget about. And then finally, what's coming up in the next issue. So there we go. That's issue 485 of the White Dwarf magazine. I hope this gave you a good idea about what's included. I'm really excited about these cards, and this could get me inspired to really get going with Warcry again and get those Gloomspite Gitz out and back on the table. I think the biggest draw for this magazine this month, though, is the board in actions. You're going to get some really good reading there, some nice instruction from the battle report, and then you get all those missions as well, some updated rules. So I think this is really worth it just for what they've included here. You're going to get a lot of games out of this. But let me know what you think. Does it look good this month? What appeals to you? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And thanks so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did like it, please hit the like button, subscribe for more videos like this one, and don't forget to hit the notification bell too to join me here next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games.